G'day everyone, welcome along, welcome to Steelhorse Station. I suspect I'm a couple of minutes early this evening, but I thought it was organised, so I might as well just get started and jump right in. We're just waiting for the game to load up. It's always a bit alarming when it holds on 85, but we do have a lot of mods here. And we will be in a minute. Now, let's just check and see where we're up to. So, we're actually not long after we finished the stream earlier in the week. So the first thing we're going to do is jump forward a couple of days. So we'll get to the third day in June. I'm pretty sure, well actually before we go to the end of June, we might as well just run around the grounds. I'm pretty sure that we've got most stuff under control and finished. So let's just have a look here. How's our weed? So we've still got some weeding going on 175. And it looks like I did finish, although it looks like I missed a circuit. I did finish 61. Looks like George 1 is finished. So it's just the weeds on 175 that are probably the focal point here. Let's just scroll through. It's always a good test. Just where did we leave the tractors? Plenty in sheds. This is the one that I was working. So we'll come back here in a sec. Yep. Equipment's got put away. You're loading up. Just back you up a little bit to try and get that stuff as it kicks out. We've got a big queue for the maintenance when we get enough cash in. We've got a crone that needs washing. Welcome along. Thanks for joining us. I'm just doing zipping around the grounds. I did actually put the ute away. I brought the leftover fertilizer back. So let's find that. And he finished there. Right. So you can go back to the farm, because that's all looking lovely. How are you, Mr. Senior? I am very well, thank you, sir. Hope it's been a good week for you. I think you have someone has joined you as well. It's showing me that there's 2, although as usual I have no idea who the 2 are unless they choose to speak. If it's Mark, I'm sure when he gets himself organised he'll say hi. Now you're going to John's yard. And let's get this guy organised. Now, which way was I going there? Which one side are the weeds on? Pretty sure we need to turn that way. Come back there, something like so. Do, because I didn't save, I was just doing it manually with GPS as I recall, which is something like that. One stealing on A+ heading, set A, cardinal is 90 in this direction. That will go something like that. Whoops. Before we go anywhere, we'll put that down. And let's try that. Excellent. Okay, so now we have some... I can take a drink while we've got the machine on auto. Haven't seen any. Let's just see where the weeds are in this field. Yeah, there we go. So we've not got much left to do for this field. And then we can probably think, I'm guessing there'll be no more contracts other than the heap of baling ones, which I'm not going to worry about for the moment. I think we'll be heading into July to see if we can make some serious cash by getting all our harvest equipment sorted. Welcome in, someone else has just joined. Thanks for coming. Just doing the last of the weeding on this field. I hate it when it does that. Why? It's on the row. Gee. That's better. It is set right. Is it going to get that little bit there? It missed that patch there on the way down. How bizarre. Don't know what was going on there. Pretty sure it's not medium weeds on here. No, it's taken all the weeds out, so I don't know why it missed that little patch in the previous row. With any luck, a little bit more time and we'll have a good crop of sunflowers here. We have 3 more rows to do, I think, of this lot. Just turn around and back we go. Why are you? It didn't skip a row, but it did miss a... That's why, because it's got the wrong width. That'll do it every time. It was the correct width last time. Why did it all of a sudden default to the wrong width? Very odd. So when I used it the other day after the stream, it's grabbed the correct width straight off the top. So I've got no idea why all of a sudden we got the wrong width now. Never mind, problem is solved, even if I have left them weeds in the field. Good help is hard to find. Whoop. So anything special happening on your week this week, John? Hey Grant, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining, mate. So what's interesting about that, John, is that I didn't have to set it last time. It went to that default width. It went to the correct width when I used it last time, and obviously last time was off a clean save. So there's some sort of a degree of randomness in my view about how it chooses what it's going to do. How much weeds did it leave in the field? Yes, so there's 2 whole stripes there. I'll have to go and find those in a second. I'm doing 4 and 3, so it's probably 2 and 1. Look, they're all racing in now. We're up to 5. No, we're back down to 3. Spoke too soon, got overexcited. It's just... We will have to wait and see, John. Don't hold your breath. I mean, it's a... GPS is a mod currently, so the base game, whatever is happening with it, will ultimately get fixed. Right, that's a bit better. That explains why it was trying to correct the course when I started it last time. I figure the best way to be is to have low expectations with the built-in GPS, and that way if it's fantastic it'll be really good. But if it's not, then I won't be so disappointed. I think it'll be fabulous for console players to have many more options for their gameplay. I think that'll be terrific. And it will also provide a broadening of functionality, which will increase the scope of what modders can dream up. So all up, it's a great thing. Now I think I'm going to go back and do row 2 and row 5 on this side. I've already done the headland edge, or the edge of the field rather than the headland. Three. Good. This should pick up the ones we missed. We'll come back down and then we've just got a few short runs at the top of the field and we will be good to go. So Mark, have you got any clever mods in the pipeline? Or are you keeping your powder dry for the new version of the game? You could have built expectation and just said, yes, I've some great ideas. We'll see what FS25 brings. And then we could have had a whole bunch of hype talking about the mods that Mark's gonna prepare. You could mock up some screenshots with fog. Yes, indeed. Fortunately, whoops, wrong button. It won't take me, assuming the game boots, I should be able to work out in the first couple of minutes whether my mod has been included in the base game build or whether I'll have to figure it out. For me, so it's a simple reason, Grant, no science at all, but if I occasionally jump in, I can actually, with the fork sticking down here, I can still see through, but if I'm trying to follow a line, it gives me another visual cue, nothing more or less than that. No other science. And plus I found a practical matter that if I have them poking out the front, when I turn on the edges, I invariably get them hooked on trees. So this just reduces the size of the turning circle. If there's a correct way to do it, I've got no idea what it is. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I actually wanted... let's go. Where is the edge going to be? It's up. That looks a lot better. Now... gonna be around about where is the edge of that weeded bit? Where have I weeded to on this side? Not quite. So what is the what's the real life practice, Grant? Do you just keep them parallel and just off the floor, or how's the, what is the oops, from the cab perspective? Where am I up to? I want to be over there. I'm looking up there for some weeds so that I know which line to run up. Let's just do that one, it'll be quicker. I would imagine that the early releases will go out at most a week before the game, or down with the nothing on the loader, or down with the forks up. Right, so when you say down with the forks up, you mean like so. Oh, there you go, Friday before. Yeah, I can't imagine them being that ready with their code quality that they want to get into the habit of shipping early releases, because that just gives them more issues to manage. They'll do all the testing that they want to do in-house. That's not to say they could invite gold partners to head office to see the game, for instance, but the likelihood is that unless you were local to Germany and feeling particularly well off or had another reason for being there, that'd be a pretty expensive proposition just to save you a couple of days. If the hydraulics suddenly fail and lose pressure, the frame will drop the forks straight onto the ground. Yes, of course. That makes sense. See, not really having any skills at all when it comes to hydraulic equipment. Closest I've got is buying my first lot of air tools a few years ago, which has been a very useful learning curve. I must say the air hammer was something I wish I'd had a long time ago. Well, I reckon we need a mod for that, Grant. So you need a, I reckon that'd be it. You could add that to your major service, Mark, so that if there's a, you could detect that there was front end frame fitted and create the chance of a hydraulics failure if you're not servicing your equipment. Now that would be interesting. And then we get to see the oh, I'm getting all excited about that now. And then we get to see the tractor go arse over biscuit. Now that would be, I reckon that's something you ought to do. That'd be a neat addition to major service. I know. Because you don't want it happening all the time. It's just like the concept of the tornado in the it needs to be like just a random event that can occur. But you can imagine for people, the first time it does occur, it will get their attention. And we'll create some... Turn on? No, I haven't. Some great shots. I'm not suggesting that it creates any additional damage. It's more the effect of, as Grant describes, if you've got your gear set in the wrong position, the tip of the forks dig into the ground and you come to a rather an abrupt and unsavory end. I reckon that'd be a cool aspect to the mod. And you could kind of build on that model so that you have like an events tree, so that the random sampling of events might increase slightly, not to a ridiculous level, but that there's several different types of events that could occur. I like it as a concept. Not suggesting you have to like it, but I do. Getting close to finish it. Only a few more lanes to do. I guess what I'm just triggering, I like, one of the things I like about major service is, okay, it increases the rate at which damage accumulates, and it just needs some that's the wrong way to put it. The gameplay would benefit from having some events that are linked with that aren't necessarily, you know, they've got some foundation in reality, like you can't start the tractor or those sorts of things, but that cause you to want to get it fixed. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. But all I'm getting at is that if the likelihood of something happening that caught your attention as you got closer to needing the major service, that would be just an enhancement to the gameplay experience. That's all I'm getting at. And it doesn't necessarily need to cost you money, it just needs to get your attention, like the forks digging into the ground, or dragging on the ground, or your tow capacity reduces, or those things like that. You know, suspension, you're down on one corner, that sort of stuff. Stuff that's got a visual aspect to it, more so than a monetary or penalty or immediate penalty aspect to it. So it's just fun. And it's not a huge computational overhead. It's not like you're trying to track or cover something all the time. I was just more thinking like a table reference and you know, an occasional trigger. If you ticked over 80% damaged, then there's a test to see if one of these events occurs. Fair enough. I can always workshop it and see if I can storyboard it in a simple way that might get you interested in doing your magic with the coding part, because I don't think I could code it easily. Not because it's hard, just because I'm not very good. What am I doing? Talking and getting my hands coordinated is not my strength. And yeah, I understand. I understand more than you realize. It's a bit like making videos. Argsy touched on it in his stream, or at least the part of it that I saw last night. It's, you know, whilst streaming it, the actual act of streaming itself is pretty straightforward. To have any chance of it being interesting and the like, and to keep some sort of a story moving along, there's actually quite a bit to do, I find, between times. And when I was trying to do that and videos at the same time, that was very much, you know, I was easily putting 60 hours a week into the business. Exactly, and I'm retired, right? And whilst it's a fun hobby, once you've been doing that for a while, it's a real time soak. So I understand perfectly. There's no way I could have done this while I was working full time. Well, the sorts of work I did for a job was such that it was the full-time commitment. I didn't have time to do anything else. It can do. It's like anything else. You just got to find balance. Where I'm finding it quite just between you, me, and the gatepost and the handful of people that watch the stream. I'm finding it quite interesting watching Virtual Farmer at the moment. I relate quite strongly to some aspects of his challenge in terms of trying to find a job, and whilst we were in very different situations, and I'm not pretending for a second I understand all of his, I only have what I've seen him discuss on stream to go on, the frustration of being qualified to do things and not being able to get a job all of a sudden in a market where seemingly your skills are valuable is very hard to get your head around, whatever the reasons that it's occurring. Yeah, I understand, Mark. That I understand. Yeah, I understand that too, Grant. I agree. So in my very simplistic, going back to the example I was using, that's that field done. All I was looking for is, say you're, well, take our farm here, right? We've weeded 3 fields. And if I've got my maintenance to this level and I haven't kept up with my major service, then chance that I get a random event that is more amusing, like flat tire or you know, or the need to limp back and get some like a trigger event which has more of a visual impact than a messes up your game impact. And like anything else, I'd want it so you could turn it on and off. It's the example that we're going to get to is the twister. Emoji in the wrong spot. The example I'm going to get to is the twister, right? The twister will be interesting once for most players. At the moment, until I see how they implement it, I can't imagine how I'm going to want it enabled. You know, it's a bit like it's a bit like stones, right? So where are we here? I don't reckon I've had stones on for since about my first 500 hours in the game, because I, once I'd picked stones off the field once or twice, the idea of picking them again just didn't appeal to me. I didn't kind of get it. Now some go the same distance with weeds. Yeah, I'm a bit equivocal with I can take it each way. I won't pressure wash everything and I won't do it all the time, but every now and again it sort of feels like the right thing to do to wash something before I put it away. If I put it away. So all I was really going for was just something to add to the visual gameplay rather than create a chore. So if your tractor was down, like your suspension failed at one end, the fact that it would be on an angle until you ultimately got it repaired would be something that would catch your eye and you would look at. To me, those sorts of little things, as long as they only happen occasionally and you have the ability to turn them off, feels good. And that's not a bad thing. Now, let's see. I think let's just double check our fields here. I'm not going to worry about tidying up those last little bits of, but that could well have been the same thing that caused me to miss that stripe of weeds. Got a little bit round the edge there. I'm not going to worry about everything else though. Growing. Let's have a look. Growing. 2 growth stages. Isn't that fun? Let's have a look at lime. We're not going to do anything about. But we're not going to do anything about. What we are going to do is spread some slurry over here. We might put some slurry on the. I have spread interesting the sunflowers because I did the fertilizing the 175 after the sunflowers had grown. It obviously doesn't take much fertilizer. So the other field where we got sunflowers has probably got too much fertilizer on it. But I think what we'll do is grab the big slurry tanker. And the big tractor. And we'll just spread some slurry down here. I need to get out of the shed there. Can I get in and get it? Maybe. It's going to be tight, but we'll see. Let's pop you over there. And zoom in like you over there. Anyway, what I was just sort of leading to with Virtual Farmer, it's kind of like listening to him talk and some of the challenges he's going through. I mean, as he would know, he's got to sort his own stuff out and find his own path. managing technical people through that part of their career. That's what I used to do for a living. So coaching, and now where do I want to fill up? I've got to go down to the slurry pit, don't I? Particularly when you see some aspects of how he manages his time and his priorities. Now, why is that one interesting? The slurry tanks aren't connected by the looks. Whoops. I think just DM'd you my thoughts. Thank you. I will look at it after the stream, Mark, but thank you. Now I'm trying to find my way around to the other. Unlike the manure, which I've now got all consolidated into one pit, slurry is still attached to each of the pig pens. I haven't figured. Oops, I didn't want to come all the way out here, did I? No, just wanted to turn around. But I am finding it interesting watching him manage that challenge, and in particular because he's got the time on his hands, he's doing a whole lot of stuff to try and build his channel and get some income, and I'm not sure that all the activities that he's performing are giving him the value that he wants, which is kind of interesting. And YouTube doesn't help in that regard, because the stats that it gives you are, whoops, there's a fence there that I didn't see, are a bit misleading. So the whole social media thing is a really big time soak. All right. Oh, this is heavy. Well, that was a lot of effort just to get a tank of slurry. I know we've got a heap up at Penny's place, which is what we'll use for the cows. And we know from last time not to use her sprayer because, oops, we don't want to go around there. It'll be too tight. Ah, cool. You can report back, Grant. You can be our man on the ground. If anything exciting happens, let us know. It sounds a lot more exciting than watch me distributing cow pee onto a field. I don't disagree with you. Don't really have a point of view. Given that I've not spent any time at all, well, in fact, he's the only person I've ever watched on Twitch, and that was just because it was more reliable there for a while to find his streams on Twitch, and occasionally if he's playing a map I enjoy, Twitch is loud and in your face, so I kind of don't do that very well. But if he's playing a stream, a map I enjoy, and some aspects of his... What's going on here? Why have I not got... That's better. I like the concept behind his realism experiment for the most part. So I actually find it quite interesting to have him on in the background, particularly when I'm between streams or prepping stuff. That's pretty cool, Grant. I'd like to say I've still got my lunar lander, but I don't. The first world event of any sort that I remember is the moon landing in '69, because I was at kindergarten, and the Age newspaper, which was the Melbourne newspaper, had an insert that came with it where you could cardboard sheet that you could press out and fold and make a model of the lunar lander, which for a 4-year-old was really exciting. So, and then later in life, I was fortunate enough to meet Neil Armstrong, which was pretty cool. Not that he would have recognised me from a hole in the ground, but nonetheless, it was a pretty cool experience. And the event that I was at, what was even more exciting was, so they did like an intro before he came on stage. He was a guest presenter, motivational speaker sort of thing, and they did an intro, and they did such a good job. He had tears in his eyes as he stood up to speak. It was astonishing how moving it was still for him, and that was 30 years on. That was pretty cool. I was going to be an astronaut for a while. As were many kids of that era. Probably started me off in maths and science, if I'm honest. Now, let's see. Was a pretty good tank load. How much more have we got down here? Have a look. Pigs. Slurry is gone there. 30,000 litres in there. 50,000 litres in. So the two west tanks have got plenty. I haven't seen the new space suits that I can, that immediately twigs a picture. I'll have to go looking for those. But certainly the materials tech is advancing tremendously at the moment, which is good. Right. Oh, it's the man. Fill you up. Oh, we're full. Do it. Now we need to swing wide. Can I get back around there? Yes. Is there enough room to get round there? That could be tight. Oh, there. Even tighter than I thought. Didn't realise they weren't lined up nicely. Clown left the bail there. Right. Bit of an obstacle course. So, we'll just do this one for now and then we'll head up to the other farm, I think. Or up to Penny's. But we'll also roll forward. Main reason for doing this is just to get that stock in the tanks down a bit and improve the fert levels on here without spending any money that we don't have. Good looking piece of kit. Now the other thing we can probably do Yep. Nice boom length. Covers the ground beautifully. I don't mind that. That gets that job done. There's so much stuff competing for eyeballs. It's quite depressing. Bit like the fact that the Australian media seems fixated on a defence industry conference in Melbourne that they're trying to drum up protest resistance against. And the Trump Kamala Harris debate, which I'm still not sure many Australians are particularly interested in. But there you go. Like, we need more confirmation that he's a lunatic. The orange guy in the diapers. Right. Let's go this way. Welcome along if you've just joined. We are just doing a little bit of slurry spreading to take the load off our tanks and top up our grass fields before we roll forward into harvest season, which we will get to shortly. Oh, I've got a, before I can spread any slurry over there, I've got to go pick some bales up. That would help, wouldn't it? Now, where is the slurry spout? Over near the milk, I think. Hopefully not too close to the milk, that would be unfortunate. A lot of cows in here now. I think I just got to back in there. Right. Next year we're probably going to need a muck spreader because we got tons of manure now. Literally. Let's try not to drive it all the way through the yard. Okay, so we'll leave that there for a minute. How much manure? Yeah, 200,000 litres there and a heap back at the other place, I think. Look. Mark's tool for determining poo distribution. Foliage manoir. There it is. Oh no, not as much back at the other place as I thought. That's odd. I thought there was a lot more back there. Maybe something's not working as well over there as I thought it was. Never mind, we'll worry about that at another time. Have I got? Yes, I do. Well, that's a bit annoying. It's night time here in Oz. That usually is the time they like to do those sort of things. Is the space station not over the top of us at the moment? I've got no idea where it is in the sky these days. And this is just for Grant, because I'm about to put the mower away for a couple of months. And because he told me he was really watching the space things. All right, now let's pop you back in the corner of your shed. You do need maintenance, but we have not the cash for that. Over the Red Sea at present. Oh well. That probably goes some way to explaining why they're not bouncing off Parkes or one of the Australian observatories, but if they're coming towards us, they may get there. Let's see. You drive forward. Just grab that. There's only 700 kilos in it. Let's pop you over here with the seed for now. Go and grab some bales. We'll leave those ones there for later. They can be used to make cow food shortly. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, let's see. Can we grab you? Look in the mirror. Where's that bale gone? That'll do it. Let's go and get these. Marshmallowville. I think what we might do, trouble is if we send these up the BGA, and we'll look at the pricing, we'll just see what that's like, because it's probably not particularly attractive. And the BGA takes a while to process them. Although I can leave them stacked on the floor. Anyone? Come on. Get that one I missed over there. So what's the target for the test, Mark? Are they... not Mark, Grant, sorry. Are they aiming to get to 0 and hold at 13 or what? I've got no idea what pressure level they maintain in the suit. Cool. Good to see they don't let a little thing like metric get in the way of their testing. Where am I going to... let's have a look at where to put these. Oops, we should turn that off for the moment. No point running the factory when we don't have enough milk. Let's see. They may well be breathing helium. Isn't that what they do that for diving in certain situations? Because I don't understand the ins and outs of it, but it has something to do with recovery. Right. So we're almost finished. Okay. Where's the best place to sell? Oh, Fisher's silage is... No, that's the high price, but we're currently... No, Fisher's silage is the best price at the moment. But why don't we send a load there? I don't think I've ever been to Fisher's silage. Well, at least not in this. I'm assuming it's over here somewhere. East Coast grain. Fisher's bale sale. Fisher's silage will be in there. There it is. I have not sent anything there to sell so far in this game, so let's do that. Let's tootle on over. And that'll give us a little bit of cash. But also we can put an auto drive connection at the sell point so that we can send the truck backwards and forwards in the future. Is this the one where I want to go? Yeah, probably could go right here. Pretty sure I've got, yep, I've got a two-way road up here, so that's fine. .50 mph is probably a bit excessive for this load on this track. Lane, it would be a better, more descriptive word. Now, from the corner here, I'm thinking I do want to go left. Doesn't really matter. There are. I got over there. No, I got a blue road over there as well. Oh, getting ahead of myself. A bit organised. Probably the route that I put into the shop from John's farm, to be honest. A funny little kink up here from memory. Yep, there we go. Lovely little fence just to really sort you out if you're not paying attention. Now we can get off there onto the correct side of the road. Good. Up here, there's a loop. I must have done a contract there. That'd be the reason. Now, we want to go up to the next right. Freethorpe. Quiet June morning in Freethorpe. A couple of folks out for a stroll, doing their morning constitutional. Yeah, is this where I want to go right? I think it is. And then around to the left, I think. No, that's a farm. Or is that the... Oh no, that is where I want to go, isn't it? It's changed. It's different to the old one, right? So let's get out of here. And let's put a loop in, I think. Left-hand loop will go. Wondering is yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I think, on that one, John. Now let's see if we can figure out which of these. That looks like a straw bale. That looks like hay. That's wool bales. Anyone know which one? Actually, the easiest way to do this, I think it's going to be the main one in the middle, but let's turn him on and find out. There we go. Silage. Fisher's silage. Tag it. What? Fisher's silage. No, it doesn't. I'm guessing it's going to be this one, but that... Oh, hang on. Can I get it from the map? Will it allow me to zoom close enough to figure out which... That's the bale sale. Silage is in the middle. That's manure. That's wool. Okay. So, if that is correct, put you off for a sec. That means why does that not look like silage? Look. Only one way to find out. That's not silage, as I suspected. There's no trigger along here. And that's manure. So that means that's where it wants to sell. It's a bit annoying, but not the end of the world. Oh, it's getting exciting. Is a Sione Weaver there? Oh, it's only 44% fermented. 96%. Oh, they're all over the place. Well spotted, sir. In that case, let's not do that, because that is a good way to throw money away. We'll leave those sitting there for now, and we'll come back and sort them out another time. Well spotted, John. Thank you. You get too much in the zone of imagining that because I've done them that they are complete. Now let's see. Can we get out of here sensibly? This is a two-way road, so we'll do that. And head back to somewhere where we can connect him up. Freeze. Back into town. And an intersection. I didn't put any labels on it, did I? Never mind. We'll do that on the next visit. You to there. You around like so. Like so. Excellent. Now you can go back to Ringo's farm. You figure it out. Wherever you think you are. Meanwhile, we'll go and roll forward, I think. Might as well increase our financial burden. Let's make sure we're not shortchanging the cows before we do that. No, they are going to run out of food, so get you out of the way. We shall feed the cows. Turn all those off. Down we go. Paul is still at rehab. Got a couple of more months to go. It's an extended stay. So I'll park you just here for now. Oh, you need some more fuel at some point too. And let's go back to Penny's. Fast track. Really? I shouldn't have dumped all those bales there. But they are keeping it stocked. Now. We'll do 2 loads of silage, I think. Well, watch out for that tree, George. Let's get... Where's the trigger here? Gonna need to turn it on. It's right in front of me. Maybe that's what I need. It's better. No, no crabs so far. Okay, that's a good sign. We don't want silage. We want hay. 72.50 is excellent. We get 4 of those would be a good start, I think. One in there. Oops. So it's the downside when you turn just the wrong way. That's 2 in there. Get out of the cab so I can fill you up. Beautiful. What they really need, Grant, is a guy in an ET suit to stick his head out. That would get a few headlines. Let's just check the animal health in general. So they're all fine and they've now got 2 days of food. We'll do another one. And they've got plenty of hay and they're not producing yet. Right. These guys will be fine until we get more crop in. Lovely. So just do 1 more load. We're going to do one more out, don't I? Silage, hey, just want one. Beautiful. Just like I bought one. That should be enough now to get us through the first, or close to the first month of harvest from a feed standpoint, so that we can concentrate, because when we roll a day over we'll grab a bunch of contracts because our fields won't be ready for a bit. We definitely want a big wheat contract or two if we can get them, to make sure that we can supplement the pig food we're producing. Let's leave that there. Let's head back. Haven't heard from the Grimmers. Hope they're okay. What time do we want to wake? Let's wake at 7. We're going to have to go one more day. But we should. Approaching New Zealand. He tends to follow, so I'm sure he'll follow the space activity, so I'm sure he is monitoring it. Now where I want to go there. Yes. So our silage has kicked in. So now we've got tons of silage, which is good. And a good amount of free cash, even at the cheaper prices. So that's a good thing. Let's rock forward another day. And wait for the bad news from the bank. Right. So oh, there you go. The rest of our silage finished. So now we're up at 1.1 million, which is fantastic. So let's go get some contracts, if there are any harvesting contracts. 27 harvesting wheat, will accept that. 14 harvesting oats, will accept that. And harvesting wheat, will accept that. We don't mess with the little ones. Big ploughing contract. That's good money. Might grab that, and after we've done, Ringo can just utter backwards and forwards to generate some cash. Now, while that's all there, let's just go over to Fisher's. move the rest of those bales. I should have put them back on the truck while I was here. Where are you? Okay, so you won't sell, but maybe you will sell here now. What? Sell point along there. Where is the trigger for silage? It's not there. Good question. Not there, it isn't. See, that doesn't look like silage in there. It's wool. Unless there's another trigger hiding here that's not marked somewhere. How bizarre. Right. Manure. Just a shed. There is definitely a trigger there, but I don't know what it's for. There's a trigger there. Some weird triggers over here, but they're for animals, I suspect. I don't know what's going on. Unless there's a bug in it that he fixed, and because I have an earlier version and I've been doing myself, I haven't got the fix for it. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay, well, that was going to be the way we solve for that. I will have to sort that out off the stream. Another way, we should have plenty of stuff we can flog down here. It's not. Oh, would you stop doing? I wish I had a switch on these that would stop them doing that. Just load them all up. Beautiful. Yeah, good on you. At least they're both full now. Right. The advantage of having the sell point just down the road here is we can tootle along. And get rid of it. Don't know what 12,000 litres of sugar goes for. Let's find out. About 12 grand. Okay, that works. Just plan here is just to get our money back in the positive. So we've got a little bit of produce we can sell off that from the dairy as well. Let's put you on that side. You're not selling. It's a height issue. I did raise the height of the trigger so that it would take it off the truck, which we will now test. 37 cents a pound. Is that today's spot price, John? What's a pound? 457 grams. Don't know why I know that. That feels like something from my memory. Yes, so I was experimenting with that. I'd had trouble with triggers in the past, Mark, and so that's exactly what I did. I stretched the Y scale and moved it up a fraction and then reset the transform on the scale to see if that worked, and that's just the first time I've used it to prove that I hadn't broken it. So yes, I can adjust it slightly so that it works for both. Now that I know that I am capable of modifying a trigger without breaking it, because I have had poor experiences. What's happening over here? They're all loading in nicely. We'll go and flog all. Oops, there's a little bit of cheese there. Right. Let's find out if that works. Yes, there are lots of deficiencies in how stuff works, and it was in trying to adjust for that I've broken things in the past, and I just get myself tangled up. Now let's just see. You're gonna behave. The back one's at the right height. Really interesting. So it emptied. It emptied the middle one. How weird is that? We know it won't take the cheese. I forgot that I had to add it to put cheese on this. It's not sitting square on that. Camera. How weird. We'll send him up to... Where did we decide that... It took some of the chocolate, just not all of it. Empty now, is it? Yep. Yep, that got it. It might be just a little quirk. It could also be that the tray is not level, and that the height of the trigger is just high enough for the middle position but not high enough for the back position. That'd be my guess. Right, so if we're seeing... Did we decide Cantley was the best place for cheese last time, didn't we? Cheese. Oh. It is showing us here. Oh no, it's can't. Oh no, international export should be fine. So it's got to just be the height of that trigger. That's all it is. Let's drive in from this direction. Now that I know it works properly. Let's just drive through. There we go. Job done. We're back in the money. That cheese is a nice little earner. Now I'm hoping that I did the maintenance on the combines when I put them away after last season. We'll find out. Yes, that's all right. Now that I know that the method I used to adjust it didn't break it, I can just do what Mark's suggesting and just stretch the y-axis and reset the scale, and it should work fine. So let's leave that there to load up. Get that off there. Let's go. Where are the contracts that we've taken? 83, 94. Oh, whoever bought the Fool on the Hill. So let us grab combine out of here. And yes, I forgot to kill the engine on that tractor. We need to go and do that before we run out of fuel. Yeah. Cool. Did they have any other, was it a, let's try with one question at a time and I may actually get a sensible sentence. Did they have a specific task to perform, or was it literally just going through a checklist to check out the gear? Now the contracts we've got. $89, $92 and $94 are at the top. Well, let's go and get working on 89. I got a 89. Well, you got to give them some highlights. They live in New Zealand after all. Right. So it was just approving the mobility of the new suits. I want to say just. That sounds like a significant thing. I do not have an 89 by the looks. 61 to 80. Okay, I didn't set any fields up there. So let's just, well, if you go to full on the hill, Paul's car park, that'd be a good start. Now, what are we going to use for cartage? You worked pretty well once I put this prime mover on this trailer. Maintenance is looking good there. And what about... Right, maintenance is all good there. And you up to where I am. Balls. Oops. Won't be able to get in because the gates will be shut. That'll do. So back here somewhere. Let's go fill up another. What particular aspect were they focused on, or was it just a sort of overview of the whole process, John? I don't want to do that. I want to turn you off and go and get some bales, don't I? And then what we'll do is duck up to tip. We always want to be turning here because the other entrance is not very wide. Cordolo. Oh, cool. There's a I can't remember the name of it, a show that runs here that sort of follows a big rig distributor, I guess you'd call him, I think he's in Queensland. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to reset the bale position. There we go. Operating position, thank you. And it's a series. It's kind of like a well-produced version of a YouTube series, but made for TV, sort of like a Netflixy sort of thing. And they do lots of. It's a heavy. Is it heavy haulage, or Grant might know? It's a 7-mate. That's not I'm not surprised by that. The fact that that's... So if I was to read between the lines, what I would say... Yeah, it's always easy, I think, to form these views when you're outside the bubble mark. If I was to guess, I'd reckon that the contract that Piastri was on was a good deal for everyone, and that when it was struck 18 months ago or 2 years ago, his management thought he was going to be really good, but McLaren were probably not as excited, and so consequently he could well have had a whole bunch of things in his contract that didn't provide necessarily the level of support that is now required, because they wouldn't have been required because he didn't have a race winning car. He probably had everything skewed to individual race wins. Well, if they've now negotiated him a better deal, then it's quite reasonable that part of that deal would be to say, well, actually for this season what we really want you to do is support Norris, or for the rest of this season. And as a team, that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Yeah, he did. So that's what I mean, is Mark wouldn't have pulled any punches getting the best deal he could, but the reality at that point was they were, as much as anything, trying to get out of the commitment to Alpine as they were get him a drive. So 2 years on, circumstances are a bit different. He's not an unknown quantity anymore. He's demonstrated that he just, not only can he drive, but he's pretty bloody good, and he's now in arguably the top end of the field. So circumstances have to adjust, and I suspect, whilst we won't get any details of that, they have been adjusted, and that might lend itself to him agreeing that, yeah, okay, let's make sure we position the best we can, because he doesn't really need to prove it. He's not going to win. Let's put it this way. Realistically, Piastri's not a chance to win the championship this year. But he could make it really difficult. Yeah, there's got to be a what's in it for me, right? And I suspect they've done stuff to give him something that's in it for him. That just makes good business sense to me. I mean, there's a lot in it for McLaren if they come, 1-2 or 1-3 in the constructors in the individual championship and the constructors championship. That's all a big deal, right? Yeah, I don't know what the term of his contract is. I'm pretty sure it went to the end of next season at least anyway. Let's pull that out of there. And these trees are the only awkward part of this process. I'm looking forward to Baku though. I like Baku. It's on my list of potential places to visit. It's kind of the only city on the circuit as it stands at the minute where I'd contemplate going while a Grand Prix was on these days. That is this weekend. In fact, tomorrow. I've been to the Oz Grand Prix, or the Melbourne Grand Prix, I should say. Probably 4 or 5 times over the years. Fortunate enough to be there on the Saturday in corporate hospitality once. Never had a pit pass. Never been well enough connected to manage that. Ah, get off that tree. Yeah, they I hear you, John. They have some good deals. My preferred day to go is Saturday. Race day, there's not enough interest in. My preferred way to enjoy it is to watch it on television, to be honest. Kind of not a... We're out. Red light wasn't changing. Interesting. I'm just navigating through here. That's a very interesting perspective. I don't it doesn't surprise me at all. I certainly said there's a lot of positives in Oscar's ability to stay cool under pressure. I sort of don't trust Oscar. I still really early. Oh, what am I doing? I don't want to go through there. I can't drive through there. But the whole culture at Red Bull is very different. I'm going to be fascinated to see what happens at what Aston. I thought it was there was a lot left unsaid in I saw just an excerpt of the press conference that Perez did after the last race, where, and I'll paraphrase because I can't remember his exact words, but he said something to the effect of, Max is now experiencing what I've been dealing with the last 8 to 10 races, which I thought was quite interesting. I thought also that there's more than a little coincidence that Red Bull's ability to yes I was on the same sort of track, but there's an interesting parallel between Red Bull losing their grip on clear outright lead and Newey leaving the team. So in other words, you know, I've designed this really cool race car for you, but if you think you can operate it without me, have at it. Anyway, it promises to be the circus that we all know and love. Yep. And let's face it, he didn't have anything more that he needed to prove to them. Sometimes the feeling of a place changes and you just, it's time to move on. Where's that knot? There we go. Yeah, that wasn't lost on me and on a whole bunch of journalists. I think makes a lot of sense that he would feel comfortable like that, and that's the way he's wired up. I think the fly in the ointment in the game for young Lance is that with Newey in the picture, Stroll might get better, but I think the man in the other garage, Mr. Alonso, will really shine. Good question, Grant. Don't know. Oh, these trees are annoying. I need a smaller boom for this paddock, obviously. Or the ability to tell the trailer that I don't want the assisted steering. I actually want the axle to go in the other direction. Because it's just annoying that you can't actually get the trailer to turn the other way. If Max leaves Red Bull, will Lance get the sack? I don't think, if what's being reported in the media is true, I don't think Newey would stay at Aston if Max came. I've never seen them in the same conversation. But I think both Alonso and Newey would mount a fairly convincing argument that they don't actually need Max. Culture is a lot more important than people necessarily give it credit for. They're all empty again. And I used to, yeah, I can see that. I used to try and explain to people that I used to do a lot of project management, and the bigger and uglier the projects get, the more interesting managing them becomes. And the executive recruiter asked me a very good question one day. She wanted to know why, when she was reviewing the CVs of highly experienced, successful project directors, they all had one or two failures on their CVs. And as a recruiter, what she was interested in is, well, how do you know which, what are the predictors in advance of knowing whether this thing's going to be a success or not? And the only insight I was able to offer was that it's about the fit between the organisation you're trying to change through your project and project director. And if that culture doesn't line up, you won't get the change that you want. And I think there's a lot of that that's relevant in any, and you know, I think a Formula One team is a big complex project, and the driver is a piece of it. And the team principal is a big piece of it, and you've got to get the culture to fit what you're trying to do. But anyway, I think with that said, we're going to leave it there for tonight. We have done a bunch of chores. We've got ready to start our harvest, which we'll get into next time. We've got some contracts on the docket. Our own fields are coming along, but not ready yet. I don't think we've got anything ready to harvest. No, we didn't. Oh, yes, we do. Our wheat is ready. So we'll get John's equipment out next time and get our wheat off. But until then, thanks very much for watching, everyone. It's been fun. Enjoyed having you here, and we'll see you Monday. Thanks, everybody. See ya.